About 5 students and some teachers abducted by suspected bandits were rescued today after the gunmen attacked the federal government college Birni Yari yesterday. And the Federal High Court today struck out the suit challenging the powers of the President to extend the tenure of the Inspector General of Police. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimalo in Lagos. Let's begin quickly the program tonight by giving you some news coming from Cross River State over the controversies on the Cross River North Senatorial District. Today, a tribunal has dismissed Joe Agi's petition against Senator Stephen Ode. The election petitions tribunal sitting in Calabar upheld the victory of the People's Democratic Party's candidate, Dr. Stephen Ode, in the Cross River North Senatorial District by-election. The chairman of the 3-man election tribunal, Justice Yusuf Mohammed, upheld the preliminary objection raised by Ode's lawyer that the 2 grounds of petition were pre-election matters. It therefore struck out the petition for lack of merit. The tribunal also held that Jarigbe Agam, who is the second respondent in the petition, was never cleared nor contested the 5th December 2020 PDP primaries. It therefore faulted the INEC for the wrongful issuance of certificate of return to Mr. Agam. The tribunal further held that Senator Stephen Ode, who is the first respondent, was duly returned as senator representing Cross River North. The All Progressives Congress APC candidate Joe Agi had gone to election tribunal against the candidate of the PDP, who was declared winner of the Cross River North Senatorial District poll. Meanwhile, Honorable Jarigbe Agam has reacted to the ruling of the tribunal, saying he did not go to tribunal and that Mr. Joe Agi did. He went further to say that the tribunal is of coordinate jurisdiction with the FCT trial court. Honorable Agam told Channels Television that he argued that the appeal court gave judgment in his favor is a court of higher jurisdiction, and Agam said that tribunal has no jurisdiction on a pre-election matter that has been decided by the appeal court and upheld by the Supreme Court. Some very crucial matters for conversation tonight. So stick with me, everyone, because we're going to look at what exactly is happening in relation to the kidnap of those students in Kebbi. Plus, we have a senior lawyer also on the program tonight that will be giving us perspectives on the ruling of the court today on whether President Buhari has the power to extend the tenure of an IGP. Stay with us, everyone. But first, let's serve you with your political roundup stories.
And I believe there are stories.
The Senate is considering the introduction of a law to govern the operations of the power sector in the country. Speaking during the roundtable on the enforcement of standards and regulations in the power sector, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Power, Senator Gabriel Suswam, explains that the Comprehensive Electricity Act was being worked on and will be out towards the end of this year or in the first quarter of 2022. Shareholders in Enugu East Senatorial District have reiterated their support for the sustenance of the long-established rotational template with regards to the office of the governor in the state. The group at a rally converged on the Michael Okpara Square with the state governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi in attendance, are seeking the governorship position to be zoned to their area.
We are here, the Progressive, to beg you to also zone the governorship to Enugu East Senatorial District.
The governor saluted their courage and promised an unflinching support of his administration and a peaceful transition and handover of power.
Rest assured that the context and context of your speeches are understood.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has begun the distribution of sensitive materials for the Gwaram Federal Constituency by-election to fill in the vacancy for the seat in the House of Representatives. INEC says the sensitive materials that were retrieved from the Central Bank of Nigeria have been inspected by representatives of parties and other election observers.
All the non-sensitive materials required for the conduct of the election have already been dispatched to the local government.
Let's get you started tonight. Let's begin the conversation with an update on the abduction of some students in Kebbi State. One of the abducted students of the Federal Government College, Bernie Yari in Kebbi State, has died. However, 5 others have been rescued by the Joint Task Force component of the operation. Hadari Daji, the Deputy Force Commander of the Joint Task Force in the Northwest Zone, Air Commodore Abubakar Abou-Kadri, says the troops came in contact with the bandits in the early hours of today and engaged them in a gun duel, which forced them to abandon 5 students, including a teacher. Several students and some teachers were abducted by the bandits who raided the college in their numbers in the early hours of yesterday. I'm now being joined on the program tonight by a former governor of Kebbi State and senator representing the state at the National Assembly, Senator Adamu Alero, joins us virtually. Thank you, Senator, for joining us today. It's so sad that we've lost that student there. And good news is that 5 of those students and a teacher have been rescued. Well, I mean, from the information that we are getting is that over the last few months and weeks, we've seen consistent attacks on communities around that area. And in fact, they go from home to home, from houses to houses, raiding and collecting their belongings. And that the last time they came into that area, they left a message that they were going to come back. A lot of people may not know that Kebbi State is also badly hit in this banditry that we have heard and seen in the Northwest region or the northern region of the country. How are things gone so bad? And didn't you as a senator or the leaders in the region get an intelligence that these people were coming back?
Well, to start with, it is not unexpected because Kebbi shares border with Zamfara and also Niger State. And these 2 states have suffered a lot of banditry. If you recall, the Tegina Islamia school, children were abducted, and equally in Zamfara, more than 400 students were also abducted. And it took a lot of negotiations before the students could be released. So having common border with both Zamfara and Niger State, it is really not unexpected. And it is true that the bandits have been around for over 4 to 5 days, and they have been given warning. They even sent a student with a letter to the principal that they are coming to the college, but the warning was ignored. The warning was ignored, and nobody took them serious. And that's the problem we have. And perhaps because we had more than 21 mobile policemen in the school, stationed in the school, just to provide, security to the students. And it's just about 2 to 3 weeks before the student could close for holiday. I understand they are waiting to take their WAEC and NECO before the bandits, descended on them. It is really very unfortunate. It's a very sad development in Kebbi. This is the first time we are recording such an incident.
Well, I mean, if you say that there was a warning, shouldn't someone be taking, I don't know, shouldn't there be, because it's so sad that if they've warned that they are coming, how could it be taken so lightly that students and lives have been lost? A police officer was killed. Another student has died. Now we understand for several hours there was a gun duel between these elements. Okay. Yeah, this element, they were shooting
the police
for several hours.
Let me come in, Shogun. The police officer were killed in trying to drive away the bandits. As I said earlier, we had 21 policemen stationed in the college ostensibly to provide security for the school and also both the staff and the students. And there was a gun battle between the students, sorry, between the policemen and also the bandits. To the extent that the bandits overpowered the policemen. They had close to about 150 motorcycles. And each of the motorcycles, from what I was told, was carrying 2 bandits armed with AK-47. And we had only 21 policemen, and they have limited arms. And there's no way the 21 policemen could confront, the bandits who are well armed, and they certainly outnumbered the policemen. So even though they were outnumbered, but they put a gallant fight to the extent that one of them was killed, their ammunition got finished, and they had to run away for their dear lives. That's exactly what happened.
I mean, as a governor, senator, and a sitting senator, what do you make of this situation? Because some of the stories that we are hearing, information coming in, is that some of these elements are non-Nigerian. Some of the students are saying it. Is it true? Where could they be coming from? Who are these fellows who are raining terror on innocent lives in your state?
Certainly, there are quite a number of them are not Nigerians. Some of them are from the Niger Republic, some of them are from Mali, some of them from Burkina Faso, and they infiltrated into Nigeria because of the porous nature of our border. And they got into Zamfara forest, where they operated for quite a long time, and then they moved into Niger. Now they are into Kebbi. Only God knows where is the next state. So I think what should be uppermost in our mind is how to control the situation. We just have to arm our policemen. We just have to embark on massive recruitment of police personnel in order to beef up the manpower. In addition to that, we have to provide them with logistics so that they will be able to perform and get rid of banditry and also insurgency in both the Northwest and the Northeast. This is the only way we can overcome the security challenges we have. But going by what we are doing today, it is not enough. Massive recruitment of the personnel into the police force is required, and we have to arm them with better weapons, better arms and ammunition, and we also have to improve on their welfare and well-being. It's unfortunate this officer died.
I was going to, because we're out of time for this segment of the conversation, but just quickly, if you can tell us, there was another gun duel today when the forces were chasing this bandit. If you can quickly tell us in 30 seconds, do you suppose that some of these elements are still in the bushes, or where do you think they are around and they may be coming back? Just in 30 seconds.
The bandits are still around that area, because I understand that the area has been cordoned off by the security forces. And there was area surveillance by the Air Force. They are using aircraft to locate where they are, and they are communicating to the ground troops. And all hands are on deck to ensure that the remaining students are released unharmed. And already the bandits have abandoned over 800 cows they stole from various communities. As you rightly had, they were in that area for about 4 days. And they went from one village to another, driving away all the animals they saw in the villages with them. And they had over 800 cows, so many goats, so many rams. And because of the cordoning off of the area, they have abandoned these cows and they are running for their dear life. They are trying to escape. But the security forces are after them. They are running after them, and they are not going to allow them to escape. The only thing is that they have to be very careful so that there will not be collateral damage.
That's one of the fears, Senator. That's one of the fears. Plus, I mean, perhaps when you get on the ground again and you're speaking with some of the leaders of the troops, one of the things that one is curious about is when these gun duels were going on, how they're not able to communicate with the headquarters in the state for reinforcement and all of that. But those are thoughts on the minds of everyone. And our thoughts are with the family and the people of Kebbi State for the quick and safe return of some of these students. Thank you so much, former governor of Kebbi State and the senator representing Kebbi in the National Assembly, Senator Adamu Elero. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, Sharon. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. We take a break, and when we return, our attention will be on the autonomy for state judiciary and the legislature. What does this mean? It does look like the governors have agreed and they said implementation should start. Plus the issue of President Buhari's powers to extend the tenure of the IGP. We have a senior lawyer to give us insight on that. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome back to the program. Let's talk about some legal matters now. The Federal High Court today dismissed the suit challenging the legality of the 3-month tenure extension President Muhammadu Buhari granted to the immediate past Inspector General of Police, Mr. Muhammad Adamu, delivering judgment in the suit filed by a constitutional lawyer, Mr. Maxwell Opara. The trial judge, Justice Ahmed Mohammed, held that the president, who is vested with the constitutional powers to appoint an IGP in consultation with the Police Service Commission, also has the power to extend the tenure pending when a substantial appointment is made to fill the vacuum. Let me get the view of a senior lawyer to give us a sense of what this means. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Ahmed Raji, is in Abuja studio. It's good to see you again, Mr. Raji, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's begin the conversation. Give us a sense of what this means. Essentially, because what the Constitution prescribes is that the appointment of an IGP can only be done with a consultation with the police council, which has the governors and some other people in that mix. But with the judgment today, what is the implication?
Thank you, Sean. I have not read the judgment, but the little I could gather is to the effect that what His Lordship, one of the best judicial minds, A.R. Muhammad, is saying is that law, just like nature, abhors vacuum, and that where it is impossible for the president to appoint the Inspector General of Police, a substantive one, he can, in the interim, allow the occupant or the occupier of the office to continue, maybe for some period so that there will be no vacuum. That is all he's saying. And the power to appoint the IGP is solely with the president, because Section 215 of the Constitution only says he listens to the advice. He's not bound by the advice of the Police Council. So the entire appointment of the IGP resides mainly with the president of the country. And when you look at the powers of the Police Council, it only emphasizes advice. And then in respect of Police Service Commission, the appointment of IG is excluded from their schedule. So this, briefly, all it means is that where, for any reason, the replacement is not been appointed, or maybe the council has not met for one reason or the other, and the tenure of the present IG is expiring or has expired, the president, to avoid vacuum, can extend his tenure. That is all it means.
So, but, I mean, what about that portion which says, after consultation with the police council, that there should be a transmission of such nomination to the National Assembly? And so a lot of lawyers have argued that before the confirmation or announcement of an IGP, it has to be transmitted from the president with the consultation of the police council to the National Assembly for confirmation first before it's announced. But some people will argue that in the case of the new IG, that was not the case. It was already announced before his name was transmitted. What do you make of that argument?
Well, it's a matter of approach. All it means is that, well, when you appoint, it is incoherent until the Senate approves it. That's all. It's left there, then the National Assembly will now approve. But
what happens?
with
Sorry,
respect to
apologies.
Extension of a tenure.
Okay. I wanted to ask, that what then happens if the Senate now fails to confirm? What happens?
No, with respect to extending the tenure, it's not making an appointment afresh. It's merely saying, please hold on until we get the substantive man to come and take over. It's like you want to go for election and the country is in crisis and the time for election has come and the country is unable to hold election, the governor or the president continues. So, I mean, it's like I said, there should be no vacuum. What this lordship has done is that he has looked at the Constitution, he has looked at the Police Act. There is nothing like acting appointment or what have you. But all he's saying is that what the Constitution does not forbid expressly is allowed. There is nowhere in the law where the Constitution has said that the president cannot ask somebody to be in an acting capacity or to hold on pending when a proper replacement will come in. I believe that is what the whole essence of what is to avoid vacuum.
Okay, so quickly, I like you
because if you ask the IG to go,
yeah.
Pardon?
So I wanted
if you ask the IG to go, yes.
Please land on that thought, please. Land on that thought.
Yeah. If you ask the IG to go, and there is no replacement in place, do you want a vacuum?
Okay, so
I think this is where it's coming from.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask Mr. Raji, the court or the law does not prescribe how long the tenure can be extended. That's on one hand. On the other hand, is that there is a certain age and year of service where such a person can stay in office. 60 years and 35 years of service, I presume. So in that sense, it does mean that automatically when you assume that age or that year of service, you are no more in service. So that rank is expired. What about that argument, Mr. Raji?
That is a very interesting argument. I quite agree with you. The office of IG is not like that of a civil servant who is rising by the rank and what have you. He is there on appointment. I agree. The moment he is no longer, because the law says, the Constitution says, the president must have to appoint from among the members of the police force. He cannot pick somebody who is not a member of the police force to make an IG. I agree. But upon appointment, until he is properly disengaged, he remains there to function. That would be my own opinion.
So, because I'd like you to touch on another very crucial point. Yeah, because that particular one, in fact, a lawyer told me on the program that, look, at the moment when the IG reaches the age of 60, is out of service and that rank expires. Well, let's quickly get your view on this other matter, Mr. Raji. And the governors of the All Progressives Congress, they have endorsed agreements reached by the Governor Tambuwa-led NGF committee and enjoined all APC governors to start implementing the autonomy for judiciary and state legislature. Mr. Raji, what does this say about the issue of true federalism and the separation of powers? There's been an argument and back and forth. Jusun was on strike for a long time. The courts were closed. Where do you see this going from? When are the governors, or why is it difficult for the implementation?
Well, I believe it's all the Nigerian problem, where those who are in control of the executive arms of government, they try to over-appropriate powers to themselves and stifling progress and growth in other arms. And when we talk of true rule of law, independence of judiciary is very key. And what is independence? What does it entail? Is it just appointment or having their own car or what have you? It also entails being financially autonomous. So having financial autonomy for the judiciary will go a long way to enhance the status and the ability of the judiciary to stand up and do the right thing in most cases, and not just kowtowing to the executive, as we have been witnessing in some or few cases rather.
Mr. Ahmed Raji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, it's always a pleasure when you give this insight on the professional thought on some of these very knotty legal issues. Thank you so much indeed for your time, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Well, that's how we end the show tonight on this Friday. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Akimbale. Bye for now.